that's on my mind, and we're just going to go from there. We're going to let topics unravel organically throughout this episode. There is no rhyme or reason or dedicated topics or anything like that. We're starting with Frank Ragnow. Adam, I want to hear what you have to say, dude. For one quick day, we were on cloud nine. Old Frankie boy was coming back. We had Ragnow about to suit up at 7. We get a post from the Detroit Lions with just Ragnow with 1 million fans behind him. Lordy, oh Lord, did things look good. Then we lost to Green Bay, and then we found out he had a grade 3 hamstring. I'm just curious on how you felt about everything, Adam. What happened?
It was Frank Ragnow gave me the biggest blue ball since high school.
Great analogy, bro. I love it.
I love Frank, but I'm just, how do you not realize it's a grade 3? You know, like, is he that much of a freak where he's just he just thinks this is normal body aches, normal pain that he's always dealt with and was getting ready to try to actually play through this, or what? Because I love the quote that was out there. Dan Campbell said, "Oh, Frank did notify us of a little bit of a hamstring injury." I'm thinking, it's a little more than a little bit. That's a grade 3. That's what DJ Reed had. It kept him out 2 months. So Frank, I will say I appreciate him trying to, save the season, even on one hamstring. That is Frank Ragnow to a T.
It really, really is. I am so, Adam, I gotta know, do you feel like if we would have beat Green Bay, he would not have had a grade 3 hamstring?
I know there's been some speculation where it was like, well, the season might be kind of over, so I don't want to, come back and kind of destroy my body for one more game, and then season really is over. I don't know, honestly, because
it's okay to not know, and it's okay not to jump into the conspiracy theorist, and that's okay to not really want to maybe give your true admission. But if you have an answer,
my take is, I kind of do feel like he would have played, but he would have obviously been hurt. I think this was like a known thing, and the Lions were like, "Hey, look, like, there's a chance we don't even make the playoffs. We don't want to do this to you. You could seriously ruin your leg if this gets even worse, So I think that's a little aspect of it, but I do think he was pretty injured, and just Frank being Frank just has dealt with injuries his whole life. I'm pretty sure he played a full season with like a strained esophagus, or it was like a broken throat or something crazy like that. Yeah. And I do think he would have tried, because like at the end of the day, it's the player's decision to play, I feel like, and if Ragnow really wanted to, I feel like the medical staff would have just deemed it, oh yeah, he's injured. They would have made him questionable each week and kind of taken it day by day. But after that loss, it was like, well, is it really going to be worth it for you? I don't know. We still, Amon-Ra went down. Kirby's still down. Terrion, I'm pretty sure he got injured that game. So maybe they kind of knew already that Terrion was headed for IR. Maybe not so much season ending, but it was all just a combination of things. At the end of the day, Frank Ragnow, he's not here to save us. The only thing that can is Dan Campbell and the mentality of, we're going to beat your ass if we've got one ass cheek and 3 toes. And I think that's what we have to do the rest of the season.
I agree. I also love right now how we are kind of stacked up like your phone bars right now. Boom, boom, boom. I love that, by the way. Julius, I want to hear your thoughts on Frank Ragnow coming and then going within 48 hours.
So this is pretty much like a knife to the gut of already pretty horrendous season. Injury-wise, following up last season, which was nightmarish. This year, I just thought there's no way. But seems that we're here. Offensive line, what where we're standing at 4 questionable right now, Nick?
Yeah. I don't even.
Is Sewell, Panay Sewell is not a part of that 4, right?
He is.
Ah,
Sewell popped up on the injury report
I was
randomly.
telling Nick before the show, we just don't got the same Jared Goff this year as we had the last 2 seasons. And the big reason why is that offensive line. And so as long as that offensive line is not producing the run game that we've accustomed to in Detroit, as long as the offensive line is not producing the play action protection for Jared Goff, offense is questionable, boys. We are on the hook
Yeah, it is.
for scoring less than 20 on any given game. When just a few weeks ago, we were on the hook for scoring 50 any given game. That is how big of a regression our offensive line has taken and what is causing a Jared Goff, what it's causing to the run game. So my point being, I thought Frank Ragnow was going to solve all that. I didn't believe he was going to solve it, but I had hope that he would. You know what I'm saying? You know, Ragnow come back, flag glass guy all over the guard. Tate play better with another vet right next to him, the best vet possible we could have next to him. Every protection call would be right. Jared Goff would play better at the very least. Now that dream is dead, my friends. All my listeners, all my Lions fans, pray to God for Jared Goff's life.
Do you believe if we would have beat the Packers that he wouldn't have had a grade 3 hamstring, Julius?
I am not a believer in that notion. Just for the simple fact it was the Packers we were playing. He had to have a clue that we might lose to them. Even if he would have played, we could have lost to them. On Thanksgiving, it's the Packers. It's not like it's some bummy Vikings team with JJ McCarthy. Oh, never mind, we could lose to them as well. So I don't believe in that notion. I honestly, maybe it nudged it a little bit, but honestly, it was the injury. It was the injury.
That's
it was the
fair.
injury. Frank didn't know. He's so old. The older you get,
Isn't he like 28 years old? He's Adam's age.
Hell no.
Adam, how old are you, Adam?
28.
He ain't old, dude. He is
Bro,
young.
he blocked for Stafford for like 6 years, bro. That took like 20 years off his life. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
He's 29 years old. Here's what I'll say. I will be that's Adam. I will be the conspiracy theorist of the group. And I do think that if we were to have beaten Green Bay, he would have a grade 1 hamstring injury and be back against the Rams. Just like we had planned. There's no way that a report comes out that he, in fact, looks better than ever and could play sooner rather than later when he has a grade 3, I'll do that, hamstring injury. Like, I'm not buying it, dude. I'm not buying it. I think this was always set in motion. I think this had been a plan talked about for the longest time, whereas by Thanksgiving, Frank Ragnow, Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell had talked about this in the offseason, prior to the draft, prior to him retiring. And they said, if by week 12, we look like we could use your help and you're feeling okay, we'll take you back. And I bet he said, okay. And I bet they said, if by week 12, we're okay. We got 1, 2, maybe 3 losses, but we look good. We don't need you. Enjoy retirement. Well, the time came, Thanksgiving came, and we needed his damn help. And he said, I'll do it. But only if we win this game and there is a legitimate chance that I come and put my body on the line for 6 games, 5 games, 4 games, whatever it turns out to be, we have a legitimate chance of making the playoffs. And the fact of the matter is, boys, we don't. We don't have a legitimate chance at making the playoffs, even sitting at 7-5. And that is not saying that the sky is falling. And I am not a fan that is sitting here saying we can't make the playoffs. Because, God damn it, I've sat here and believed in a 2-7 Detroit Lions team to make the fucking playoffs. I'm sure we can make the playoffs at 7-5. But the fact of the matter is that Ragnow and everyone who's not as dumb as I am can look back and see that it's going to be so hard to make the playoffs this year if we didn't beat Green Bay. And we didn't beat Green Bay And then the next day, we find out he has a grade 3 hamstring. That is a complete fucking tear with, you have black and purple fucking bruise. I don't know if you guys have ever torn a hamstring like that, but you get like a black and purple bruise the entire length of your leg, and it looks gross. It looks grotesque. But for Frank to be like, I didn't even realize that. I just don't buy it, dude. I cannot believe that. And I bet we aren't having this conversation if we beat the Packers. That's a conspiracy theorist, and I hate to go on a rant. I'm sorry, everyone. We'll get off the topic. That's why I wanted to start with this topic, Adam. You shouldn't have let me host this show. I got more conspiracy theories to go, but we'll sprinkle them in. Let's move on. Something Julius brought up, and we'll throw it down to Adam here. It's the offense. We started out, I believe the first 3 weeks, we were the highest scoring offense, maybe second highest, something like that. We whooped on we lost to Green Bay, but we whooped on Chicago, we whooped on Baltimore, and we were looking good. Johnny Moe had the team kind of dealing. And then the struggle bus came. We fell off a cliff, man. We were like freaking Coyote trying to chase freaking the Roadrunner, and the Roadrunner made a swift, and we just went right off the cliff. And we scored 9 points against Philadelphia on the road, 24 points against Minnesota. What did we do last week? I don't even remember. Green Bay, what did we score? I don't know. Not enough. We fucking suck. Anyways, Adam, what do you think about the offense, brother?
So I've had this take for quite a while now that I love Goff. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, but not with the team that we have around him. From the 2023, 2024, yes. Goff, he's just not mobile. And that's the new day and age. You just have to have a quarterback that can just slip some tackles here and there. We saw Love do it a million times. Baker did it. Hell, even J.J. McCarthy even got sacked 5 times, but was still slipping a couple tackles. If you don't have a perfect offensive line and a great defense, you need a quarterback that can just make a couple extra plays. And I love Goff, and he's done a lot for this team, but at the end of the day, when the pocket starts to collapse, he just goes down with it. And we need someone that can just bounce around. If it's like a Ben Roethlisberger type, just big enough to just shed guys off, but he's not big enough. He's not really fast enough. And if the pocket's not perfect, he's just off a bit. And that's kind of what we saw the last 2 years, where we had this phenomenal offensive line where Goff was just slicing and dicing, untouched. We had weapons all around. Now you take away Laporta. You take away, Ragnow. You take away Mahogany. You put in Glasgow. You put in rookie Tate Ratledge. And it's just too many patches to fill. I feel like we just keep putting Band-Aids over a gushing wound, and it's just still bleeding. So the Lions offense, I'm still confident that, all we got to do is make it in the dance. That at the end of the day, that's all you got to do, And a lot of people are like, oh no, this team can't win a Super Bowl. Well, I've seen, the 9-7 Giants defeat this 19-0 Patriots. Anything can happen. Granted, their defense was, pretty dang good, but I've seen Nick Foles win a Super Bowl over Tom Brady. Trent Dilfer got it. There's plenty of outliers. Now, do they happen all the time? No. But can they happen? Yes. So the Lions just got to out-grit everyone for the remainder of the season. I think 4-1 might do it. 5-0 will do it. 4-1's a maybe. 2 losses, game over. And we Cowboys Rams, so it's like do or die the next 2 weeks and on.
Okay, I love it. It's a fair statement to make about the offense. I would say it's basically what it sounds like is we got to get better at quarterback, which I don't know what that option is, because it's easier said than done, right? Ask the Vikings how quick you can go from a competent quarterback to a shitty quarterback. But Julius, I want to know what your thoughts are on our offense. So please lead us. How are you? Are you on same board of kind of putting a lot of the blame on Jared Goff this season? Or where are you at?
I'm pretty much on the same wavelength as Adam with Jared Goff. I mean, he's just so limited to a point of you have to always worry about this. You have to always worry about the offensive line is perfect, blah blah blah. I don't want to have to worry about that for the rest of my life. Now, anything can happen. We said now Jared Goff and this offense can score points. I believe after the first 6 weeks of the season, Nick, you alluded to it, they were leading the NFL in points per game with over 30. I think it was like 30.2 was the exact number. Now I think that number has fallen to like 22 or 23 now, just
It's
because of the
actually still kind of high. It's at
What
29.2.
wow,
know what the
still
ranking
pretty
is?
high.
Do we know what that ranking is in the NFL? Just out of
Tied for
curiosity?
third.
It's got to be top 5.
That's third. We're the third highest scoring offense. That's crazy. That is skewed by the
Nobody
first
wants to see us in the playoffs. Nobody wants our grit to come out and we go on a freaking run at the end of the season. Oh, we forgot about the Lions. They finished 12-5, still get a wild card because the Bears or the Packers got 13 wins, and we just go on a fucking bum rush through the playoffs. It can happen, especially with this coach Dan Campbell. But we got to get back on track. So, like you said, 29 points per game, bro. We can do it. It's possible. Jahmyr Gibbs, J-Mo. It's going to suck not having him on Raw against the Cowboys. But J-Mo, he's shown that he is the weapon that he is. So, with J-Mo, Gibbs, Montgomery, we should be able to do some damage. Look for Tesla to break out this game. I'm not even going to go all into my predictions, but yes, this offense has been disappointing. But no way, shape, or form am I giving up on it.
I think it's fair to not give up on it, but I don't know if it's fair to blame Goff. I don't think we tread on tough territory when it comes to talking about Goff, because you make one slip up in the way you say something and people could just call you the biggest Goff hater or whatever, vice versa. But I'm not 100% sure Goff can win the Super Bowl without the 2023-2024 roster. And that doesn't mean – what I mean by that is you have to have the injuries be subdued throughout the season. You have to go into the home stretch in the playoffs full health for Jared Goff, unfortunately. And that's okay. Because if you do that, he can get you the NFC Championship. He can get you to a Super Bowl. We don't know if he can win it yet. We'll figure that out. But I think a lot of this blame has to be on play calling. And that does not exclude Dan Campbell, who, in my opinion, lost us our Thanksgiving game. And we are back to that 2022-23 when we went 9-7, or even the year before, where we lost games because of his idiocracy, because of his unwillingness to accept when to do the right thing and push the envelope. Now, that's fair to do many a times because it's Dan Campbell, and that's what got us to the place we're at right now. I get it, and in fact, I believe for the past few years, I've been the biggest advocate for it. Don't get mad if it doesn't work, if you get happy when it does work. But we're not in need of Dan Campbell's 7-time fourth down, go for it mantra. We are not the 2022 Detroit Lions. We are better than them. We are not 1-6 to start the season. What he did and what he's doing right now is putting the mentality back into that we aren't this dominant team. We need to go be aggressive and gritty and go win every game. But that's not the Detroit Lions right now. We are better than many, many teams. What we need to, in fact, do now is not lose games, because teams come into Detroit thinking, damn, this is a good team. We need to do everything we can to beat them. The Detroit Lions, though we suck right now, and I get it, and it's like, well, your mentality should be we need to do everything. Going into Green Bay, we were 7-4. We almost doubled our losses with wins. And without that, like losing 16-9 to Philadelphia, losing to Minnesota by a few points, both games we could have won. And in the NFL, one-score games, ask the Kansas City Chiefs, can just differ. It can just happen like that. But we went into this game, the way I looked at us, we went in this game 6-8, needing every single win. when that was not the case. And Dan Campbell outcoached himself and needs to step back. I'm sorry, but Dan Campbell's offense outside of Washington has not looked better than John Morton's. In fact, in times it's looked worse. St. Brown has dropped more passes when Dan Campbell has been calling plays than I've ever seen him. Now, he's dropped a lot of passes this year, and we can talk about that. We don't have to talk about it. I don't care because I get it. When he said that, like, even the best will miss some, but I don't know if Dan Campbell is it. I just don't know if he's it. I believed in it when the thing happened. You know what I mean? When we made that switch, I was on board. But I'm not going to ask you guys to put any take on Dan Campbell's offense calling. That's just what I think we need to be blaming our offense on right now is our coach, because that's where I'm at in life. Set your team up for success. But Ben, we got Bennett here. We take our shirts off if we make the playoffs, I'll say. We make the playoffs, we come out here, we take our shirts off. Fuck, dude, taking the shirts. That reminds me of Ben Johnson. I get all pissed off about Ben Johnson, which is where I'm going to transition to right now. Because of the offensive coordinator talk that I had,
Johnson.
We have to talk about, it's been 12 weeks since we've done a show, 3 months. We have not sat here and talked through the 10-3 Chicago Bears. But I'm going to open the floor up right now, and this isn't to give kudos to Ben Johnson or anything of that nature. You can talk about what you'd like. But I do want to know what your thoughts are. And we talked a lot about Ben Johnson not affecting us as much as maybe we thought he might. And a lot of it being Dan Campbell calls them plays. Dan Campbell's a lot more in behind the scenes than you know. Are we wrong or not? We don't have to give Ben Johnson flowers right now. But Adam, we're going to start with you because that's what we've been doing all show. Ben Johnson is the open forum right now.
It was the perfect combination of coach and offensive coordinator. You had Dan Campbell that knew how to get every single ounce out of every player, even if you're a 7-stringer to starter. Dan Campbell got the best out of him. Then you had Ben Johnson that just understood the game, pulled the strings perfectly, had all the right plays, except for that Washington game, up his sleeve. And you're kind of now starting to see it with the Chicago Bears team, where he's just, at first, they were a little shaky, and it was because he was new and they didn't, the team didn't quite buy in. Well, after winning, every Bears player, fan, member, whatever, has bought into Ben Johnson and is like, I will die in the field for this guy because he is getting us wins. And what he's doing in Chicago, it kills me, but at the end of the day, I got to tip my cap. He's doing a phenomenal job. It sucks so much that he went to Chicago. Every Lions fan knew in the back of their heads that this was the biggest fear, that he takes Caleb Williams and all these little weapons and turns them around and makes them into a real competitive, playoff, maybe even Super Bowl team down the line. Don't think they're there yet, but I definitely think they're a playoff or playoff win capable of a team. So it's tough to watch. And then you sprinkle in everything going on with the Lions, the John Morton, the demotion, Dan Campbell taking over, the aggressive play calls. And Nick, I'm kind of right with you, where Dan Campbell going for all these fourth downs, some of them are, I'm fine with, but sure, every single time, you're right. It does tell the team that, hey, if we don't get 7 here, we're going to lose this game, or we have to get 7 every single time. We're not good enough to beat these guys. And the fact of the matter is, field goals with this Lions team could have probably gotten us a couple wins, especially in the Eagles game where we went 0 for 5 on fourth down. Now, the JMO penalty did kind of, throw some things in the tailspin a bit. But in the last 3 games, we didn't go for it on fourth down in the Giants game. So really just the last 2 losses. The Lions are 0 for 7 on fourth down. And that is just something that can't happen. I understand that one of the fourth down plays in the Packers was that pass to JMO, hit him right in the hands, and it should have worked out. But all plays don't have 100% hit rate. You could throw to the best wide receiver who's wide open, and there's still a sliver, tiny, tiny chance that he drops it. And flukes happen. So Dan Campbell, sometimes, just take the points and just play chess slowly. You don't need to try to go for the checkmate right off the bat. And that's what I think he's been trying to do, is try to just put the hammer down, get as many points as possible. But when you make games close with field goals and, put up points, it's a human mentality that gets changed. You get Packers players, Eagles players thinking like, all right, they're still hanging around. But if you don't get that fourth down, it's like, oh yeah, we got them now. They're sliding. So it's a sticky situation for the Lions. It's been a brutal, I guess, week or so, with the Bears beating the Eagles. The Lions couldn't beat the Eagles, and the Eagles showing that they aren't that good, and the Lions honestly probably should have been able to beat them. So
yes, we most definitely should have been able to beat them. But then we almost fucking lost to the Giants, and I forgot about that game, Adam, until you brought it up, and I just sat there and was like, oh my God, I forgot Jameis Winston. Freaking Randy Moss to Meek Robertson. And
That
then
was the crash out. That's when we almost crashed out in the group chat.
I know. I think
Nick was like, "You're watching." I was like, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
Yeah.
Nick's like, "Our season's slipping away. Goodbye."
I was done at that point. I was scared because I thought we were going to lose to the Giants. I was like, that's.
I was too. I was scared as shit. I was scared.
That's bad.
I mean, even when Jake Bates kicked that field goal, bro.
That was a good one, though. That was a good one.
Breaking news! Breaking news!
Frank Ragnow's back.
I freaking wish, man. It's not super big, but for all you Lions fans, including myself, hoping to get Darius Slay back in Detroit, he was just claimed off waivers to the Bills, which means that the Lions didn't even make a claim because we had priority over the Bills. I don't get it. Even if
Brad
it does
Holmes.
look like for this team, it's still a defensive back, a body in the locker.
Let's talk about Brad Holmes. How about that, guys?
Let's talk about Brad Holmes. Julius, why don't you lead us off about Brad Holmes? Tell us what you're thinking, my brother.
So let's just say that I feel a little duped. I feel a little duped just because I felt like Brad Holmes really, 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 really wanted to win a Super Bowl. And now I don't believe that. Now I just believe Brad Holmes really, really, really wants to make Brad Holmes the Brad Holmes way look like the right way, even if it's not. So that's the difference. That's the difference between believing in yourself to a fault and doing whatever it takes to win, which is I kind of want a mix in my general manager. And right now, Brad Holmes exhibiting just a slight edge to selfishness and stubbornness when it comes to constructing a team that has depth to deal with injuries, that has draft picks in the middle rounds that you trade up for out of nowhere that actually fucking play on the field. I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't like. Like those first couple drafts, laid the foundation. I mean, the Lions, the city of Detroit, has never seen such roster construction, maybe since the days of Joe Dumars going to work Pistons, where he just hit on every move he was making. But I think you kind of see the early signs early on with the free agent choices. He tried to go for some guys that was questionable. I remember that one wide receiver. I can't remember his name no more. I always bring him up.
Trinity Benson.
What was Trinity Benson? Yes, dude. Good call out, Adam. What a big
Trinity Benson. That's who I always think back on when it comes to Brad Holmes. And I'm just worried that he's more Trinity Benson than he is Amon-Ra St. Brown. And that worries me. But like I said, I'm not going to jump into legit conclusions here.
Right. We're venting. That's
But
cool.
if this season goes the way that it's looking like it's going, we missed the playoffs, a huge disappointment, blah, blah, blase. I mean, we looking at the Brad Holmes moment of truth off season this year. He either changes or he doesn't. And if he doesn't, and we continue down this route of failure when it doesn't have to be this way, it's a damn shame.
It's fair to say we'll bring up. We always love when any viewers, listeners, bring in their comments as we do this show
That's
live.
exactly right.
So we do appreciate Michael over here. So I've seen him a
That's
couple
a great
times in the
comment.
comments. So
Yeah.
appreciate you, Mike. But yeah, let's talk about this. So it's fair. I think what Julius is saying is fair to say. I think there's a lot of Detroit Lions fans that are frustrated, furious, maybe mad, maybe aggravated that Brad Holmes continues to kind of not go above and beyond to put us in a better situation at any chance he can get for us to win a Super Bowl. Now, he goes out and makes big free agent splashes. They're 1-year deals, but like Zeitler, Carlton Davis, DJ Reed, like he makes free agent deals, he makes splashes, but he doesn't make the in-season trades. And in fact, I think the only one that I can really think of outside of Trinity Benson, Marcus Davenport last year, or now, I'm sorry, what's his name? Zadarius Smith last year, and it didn't really work out. And the year before that was Donovan Peoples-Jones, and that was 2 years ago. And neither of them really worked out. Now, Zadarius started for us and had a few pressures, had a couple sacks. I believe he had 2, maybe 1 sack for us.
He had like 2.
So it's like it doesn't always work to go get these guys. And what Brad Holmes is, I've been on the train for a long time of saying like what Michael's saying, which is it's just all an investment. We're continuously like building this team for the future, but it is now year 5. In your future in the NFL, it doesn't work like that anymore. So in year 3, I think what Michael was saying, this exact quote is more than fair. In fact, what I would have echoed louder than anyone else in any room. However, it is not year 3. We are in year 5, and we are plagued with injuries. A 24-month stretch of being plagued with injuries. But the fact of the matter is we're going into year 6, and we go into year 6 without a Super Bowl. And now 2-year regression in the playoffs. That's when you have to look at the saying, if your tree isn't growing, it's dying. You're not stagnant. You can't be like, well, we're just as good as the 23-24 Detroit Lions. No, because now we're going to 26-27 Lions. Like, we're not the same team. In fact, we're much different than that team. So Brad Holmes, what Julius was saying, is now I'm not putting him on the hot seat. God damn, don't get me wrong. Brad Holmes got the Detroit Lions out of hell, out of cellar dweller. But do you remember when Rick Carlisle was coaching the Detroit Pistons? Very good for many years, getting us up there. You know, we got rid of Grant Hill. We started to build this team, and Carlisle was there. And then we get rid of Rick Carlisle, and we bring in Larry Brown. And Larry Brown wins a fucking championship that first year. Now, I'm not saying we're going to get a new GM, but like there's times to understand when your shit's not working.
Oh, yeah.
Fix it. Adam, do you have anything to say about any of this? Oh, I'm sorry.
Real quick, I just want to answer Michael's question here. He put in chat. I mean, it's a great question. And honestly, I just want to tie this quickly with Brad Holmes to Jared Goff. Because a lot of the reasons we can't overcome all this injury stuff, and we gotta, look at a big old 5-year window kind of thing, is because our quarterback is stagnant. He's not going to improve. He's not going to become a better scrambler, a better on the move player. But if we had a young up and coming, if we had Caleb Williams or some kind of young
Drake May,
Bo Nix, any one of these other guys, then it's a different conversation. Every year you trying to make sure that guy's who's probably on his rookie contract, you trying to win a Super Bowl with him. The Mahomes damn concoction that Andy Reid came up with that everybody wants to do now. They try to do with Jaden Daniels, ain't really work out. They try to do with CJ Stroud, ain't really work out. But that's the way to go nowadays. Unless Jared Goff all of a sudden becomes Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing I want to do this offseason, build depth that can survive these injuries.
Okay, that's fair. All right, Adam, we'll let you get your piece in.
So I think Brad Holmes flew a little too close to the sun, and now he's getting burned. And By that, I mean nailed the first 3 drafts, got us to the NFC Championship game. Probably thinks, and you play that game 9 times out of 10, the Lions win that 9 times. And that one outcome was the Reynolds drops, Vildor face, all that hoopla. I also have a small belief that there's not just Brad Holmes flying too close to the sun, burning himself, but myself burning myself. Because ever since I got that injury, the Lions have been...
Bro, before this show started, about an hour before, me and Julius hopped on, and I brought up the what if multiverse of...
What was all the what ifs, Nick?
It was a lot, but ultimately it came down to what if Adam didn't burn himself
That's
on
what it
that
came down
championship
to.
game? Would we have won the Super Bowl? I don't know how we got there, but that was brought up organically 3 hours ago.
Yeah,
so
that was the ultimate what if. It came down
that
to
was
that.
the ultimate what if. So now we get to hear about Adam talking. I love it, Adam. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, there's definitely a different alternate reality than Earth 306-A, where I have a perfect hand and 2 perfect hands, and the Lions have a Super Bowl ring. But back to Brad Holmes. I do think he got a little bit in his head. I think some of the, the trades that he made just didn't work out, and it kind of scared him off. But what I need is Sheila to walk into that room and go, damn it, Brad Holmes, you are the best person in the NFL at drafting. You can nail any pick, but go out there and get me an effing playmaker. We need someone that will just take this team to the next level. And each year, there's guys out there that are on terrible teams that want out. Trey Hendrickson, probably Myles Garrett next year will want out. And go get them. Give up the picks. I don't care, man, because even if you're so confident in making picks, at least you're guaranteeing a superstar coming in. And also going back to the picks, yeah, Brad Holmes he's got a knack for drafting dudes that are made of glass. And I don't know if it's just really bad luck or if it's the Brad Holmes mentality of, you know what, I don't care, you tore your ACL. We're going to give you a second chance. And sometimes it works with, J-Mo, he's kind of working out. And sometimes it terribly misses with, I guess I can't think of anyone, but, Rakestraw, Terrion, all these guys. I don't know if they had previous injury history, but it's just Brad Holmes needs to lay the hammer down. And what Michael said was exactly spot on, where he is trying to just create a dynasty. And every fan's like, no, you don't understand. We want a Super Bowl now. We have waited 50, 60, 70 years. We need this now. And I don't care if this is the only one we get in the next 10 years. We want to have this feeling. We've never had it before. So Brad Holmes, I agree with you, Nick, shouldn't even be on the hot seat. He'll have to do a lot of wrong in the next couple of years to, get on that hot seat. Because at the end of the day, if you nail your draft picks, you still got life. But Brad Holmes, lay that hammer down, buddy. I'm confident. You have an eye for talent. Go find that talent that's in the NFL.
Yes. That's what needs to happen. Listen, Brad Holmes doesn't have to. The Los Angeles Rams won a Super Bowl, tore everything down, rebuilt, and are now on pace to win another Super Bowl with an MVP quarterback. You don't have to build this team just through the draft year by year. You needed to set a foundation, which he talked about, that we talked about, build that foundation's been built. My God, did we have a fucking luxurious house. Now, right now, we're missing a few siding pieces and shingles, and the windows are broken out, but the foundation is fucking built. That's a sturdy foundation. That thing ain't going nowhere, dude. But Brad Holmes now has to know when to pay a little extra to get a water feature out front. Pay a little extra, get some wall side windows up in that bit. You know what I mean? We need to get some stuff going on. Also, back to the multiverse. Russ is right. No, that's not what I wanted. This one right here. Me and Russ got kicked out of a bar due to my encounter.
Senior
my God,
Bowl.
Russ was with you.
Yes, Russ was with me, and I was so terrible. I was such a terrible bar patron that they had to kick me out. I take full responsibility for the Detroit Lions loss. But then breaking news after that, we will get a Russell Brown 1.0 drop after the Super Bowl. The tradition lives on. Shout out Russell Brown, great friend. He is the best college football analyst you'll ever fucking find. I don't care about anyone that's bigger or whatever. Follow Russ Brown if you want to know your college football stuff. He is fucking genius.
Gotta
Anyways,
get him back on.
we do got to get Russ back on. I do want, the show's going to be coming to us soon here, or coming to an end soon here. It was fun coming to our first show, but we have to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. We got to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to start out with you, Adam. What is your key to victory? And actually, I just want to know your one key to victory right now.
Pressure at sacks. I'm not sure if I mentioned this stat before the show or during the show. The Lions are 6-2 when we record 2 or more sacks. The Lions are also 6-1 when they record at least 1 turnover. That one loss, the Vikings, who we absolutely should have just dismantled. So the Lions could just, play some good defense, get some pressures. Hutch, we're paying you. Al-Qadim Muhammad, we know who you are. Marcus Davenport, you're here right now. You might not be next week, but you're here right now. So get some pressure on the quarterback. When Dak is just left alone in the pocket, he's going to slice and dice us. He's got Ferguson, CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens. Those are 3 of the best at their position.
And Julius, one key to victory.
So Adam stole my key to victory, which I think is the most important aspect of the rest of the last 5 remaining games of our season. But I'm going to go on to my second aspect, and I'm going to say Jameson Williams. There will be no Amon-Ra St. Brown. There will be no Sam Laporta. Goff got to throw it to somebody. There will be no Khalif Raymond. Goff got to throw it to somebody. So let me say key to victory, pass catchers not named Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta. That includes Jameson Williams and a little offset, looking for a little breakout, Isaac Tesla.
Yes, sir.
Adam, I wasn't listening to you. Adam, what was your key to victory?
The pass rush. We got to get at least 2 sacks.
Adam definitely stole mine as well. Okay. So Adam took the low hanging fruit.
That's the world's for
the second lowest hanging fruit. Key to victory: score more points than Dallas, dude. That's what you got to do. Like, what are we talking about? Just go fucking win this game. The entire state of Michigan is literally looking at this right now as this is our first playoff game. We're about to have 10 playoff games this year, and it starts tomorrow against Dallas. You can't lose another game. You can't. You lose a game, you ain't making the playoffs. Sucks. I don't care if that loss, I don't care who that loss is to. Don't lose another game. You think getting in the playoffs at 11-6? Sadly, that might not happen, which is freaking crazy. You have I think what Adam, I think you tweeted it. Those odds. It was like if we lose one game, even to the one team that
I think it's like a 46% chance,
under 50% chance.
Yeah.
And I believe I saw another tweet today or tomorrow's game. If we win, we have a 53% chance of making the playoffs. If we lose, we have a 27% chance of making it. It's like a full 25%, a full quarter swing. If we win or lose, you can't lose. Playoffs start tomorrow. Go win the games.
Facts.
Well, we normally do a fun game on this show. It's been tough without doing the show. It's been tough with all these losses. I haven't really followed up to see. So I don't know where we're at in weeks and we're not. We'll do that off show. We'll bring it back next week now that we're starting to hopefully get this show going again. But I am going to ask you guys your predictions. And I am going to start with Adam. And then I'm going to go Julius. Then I'll go myself. Who wins? Score prediction. That's all we're doing today. No MVPs. So who wins? Score prediction. Let's end the show on a good note here.
I think the Lions, I think we're going to squeak it out. I think it's going to be a massively high-scoring game, like a 38-31 type game, which is what I'll lock in, 38-31 Lions. We saw the Packers tie the Cowboys 40-40, so we know there could be lots of points. We're granted did go into overtime, but I think they only each kicked a field goal in overtime.
Yeah.
Regardless, That's what we got to do. We're gonna have to win this game in a shootout, an unconventional Lions way, but we have to, exactly what you said, Nick, score more points than Dallas. That's what it comes down to.
That's true. All right.
Sounds dumb, but
That's, I mean, you know what? At this point, when we're 9-1, we can get a little bit more in depth of what we mean. Right now, 7-5, just fucking score. Julius, what's the score? Who wins?
The Lions have to win this game, and I believe they will. They'll be home in the city of Detroit. It's going to be totally fucking rabid out their minds. There's no possible way they're going to allow the hated Cowboys and the refs to take this one.
Rachel.
High scoring. There's no way this is low scoring. It's time for the Lions to get back on their game against this porous Dallas Cowboys front seven. Tate Ratledge, Penei Sewell goes to work. Lions 34, Cowboys 31.
31 seems to be the common denominator. All right. I will also a Detroit Lions big win. Definitely at home. Can't lose another game. Gonna have to score more than the Cowboys. Gonna have to get pressure on Dak. Gonna have to sack him a couple times. J-Mo's gonna have to catch a couple balls. We're gonna have to win this game without St. Brown. We're gonna have to win this game without Ragnow. We're gonna have to win this game without pretty much every fucking player. It seems like every fucking week. Here's what we're gonna go with. Detroit Lions win this game. 30. No.
do the Doctor Strange, the envision.
Yeah, exactly. It was always one. It was 40 points without St. Brown. 40 to 38. Jake Bates wins it on a field goal. 38-37. Jake Bates knocks it through to win the game. Ford Field erupts. The ceiling falls off. The cave, everything goes crazy, and the Lions win.
Absolutely love that. All right, boys and girls, you guys can check us out individually at Everyday FFB, Nick Faber NFL, and the Fifth Top for Julius. Glad I still have all those memorized. And of course, the big one, Honolulu Blues _ We're still posting all sorts of good stuff.
We still there,
During the
baby.
game, after the game, before the game, we got it all. Check us out on Roundtable Sports as well. We got Nick doing some good Michigan State stuff, Julius getting ready to fire up some articles as well, and myself doing Lions. So we got it all there. Roundtable Sports, they cover all teams. If you're Lions, Red Wings, Bears, Packers, whatever fan you are, check it out. But, boys and girls, hopefully this won't be the last one, but go